Hello everyone, this is Aryan Thakkar, your coach and mentor, and welcome back to my YouTube channel on Aryan Tutorials, where in this video I'm going to take up your ISC Rhapsodies Class 12 second poem, which is Tithonus, written by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Now, before we get into the line by line explanation, थोड़ा सा एक background build करते हैं, मैं आपको एक story सुनाता हूँ, ठीक है? First of all, this poem Tithonus is taken from the ancient Greek mythology. ठीक है, ग्रीक मिथोलॉजी से इसको लिया गया है. इट इज बोरोड फ्रॉम देयर, where Tithonus was a handsome Trojan prince. He was a prince of Troy, and he was a son to his father named Laomedon. So Laomedon was the king of Troy, and he was a prince of Troy. What happens is that there is another central character in the poem named Aurora. ठीक है, Aurora, who is the goddess of dawn. ठीक है, she is a goddess of dawn, and Aurora falls in love with Tithonus. Now, Aurora had the habit of abducting. Abducting का मतलब क्या होता है? उठा के ले जाना. She had a habit of abducting all the handsome men, and in one such instance, Aurora falls in love with Tithonus. Now, story goes like, Tithonus Aurora को बोलता है that since you are a god and you have fallen in love with me, in order to stay with you perpetually, means to stay forever, to be by your side and to share that eternal love with you, I request you to grant me the boon, that is, मुझे वरदान दो of immortality, कि मैं हमेशा हमेशा के लिए अमर रहूं ताकि मैं तुम्हारे साथ रह सकूं. तो Aurora goes to Zeus, who is the king of God, and asks on behalf of Tithonus to grant him the boon of immortality, to which Zeus grant that boon. Now, in her haste, Aurora, in her haste, she forgets to ask Zeus for the boon of eternal youth at the same time. So what happens is that Tithonus remains eternal forever, so he is incapable of dying, but over the course of time, he withers away. That means he grows more and more weak, old, and he starts to shrivel up. He starts to shrink. He gets more and more old with the passage of time. So right now in this poem, Tithonus is at his old state where he is lamenting. He is regretting his past decision कि मैंने क्यों अरोरा से immortality का boon मांगा. So this poem Tithonus is actually a dramatized version of the story which I just told you, जहां पे मैंने बोला कि Tithonus ने जब अरोरा से immortality का boon मांगा, so Zeus ने अरोरा के behalf पे उस boon को grant किया. But over here in the poem, it is not Aurora who is requesting Zeus, it is Tithonus who is asking Aurora the boon of immortality, and it is Aurora who grants him this boon of immortality through which he is unable to die forever. ठीक है? He remains alive forever, but Aurora forgets to grant him the boon of eternal youth, to which Tithonus is now decaying, he is rotting, and he is physically deteriorating over the course of time. And he is regretting his past decision. तो ये है आपका Tithonus का background. And आइए थोड़ा सा पढ़ते हैं. Alfred Lord's Tithonus is a deeply reflective, dramatic monologue. Reflective यानी Tithonus is retrospecting. ठीक है? He is retrospecting his past decision, that why did he ask this boon which once was seeming like a boon, जो कि उसको लग रहा था कि उसका वरदान होगा ताकि वो अरोरा के साथ हमेशा रह सकेगा. He'll able to stay by Aurora forever, but it actually now turns out to be a curse for him. ठीक है, उसके लिए वो अभिश्राप बन गया है. And this is a dramatic monologue. What is the meaning of dramatic monologue? Dramatic implies that we have characters in the poem, that is Tithonus and the goddess of dawn Eos named Aurora. And monologue means it is a first person's narration. So it is Tithonus who is narrating the entire poem, and it is through his perspective that we are shown how Tithonus is actually feeling right now. See, the poem has a physical setting where Tithonus is residing at the edge of the world, means he's residing at the thresholds of the east. But at the same time, when we delve deeper into the poem, we also get to understand that poem is trying to explore the emotional or the mental landscape of the main protagonist, which is Tithonus over here. Okay? So it is a dramatic monologue that explores the burden of immortality, a very important phrase which you can use in your answer. It explores the burden of immortality and the contrast between the mortal and divine. Yani a living creature who was a human, that is Tithonus, and the divine existence. That Aurora, she remains perpetually beautiful, but it is Tithonus who has to wither away with the passage of time. And the inevitability. What is the meaning of inevitability? Which cannot be avoided. Unavoidable. ठीक है? So inevitability, unavoidable, and the necessity of death. He feels that death is the most meet for all. It is suitable that people should die after their due course of time. It is not right for a human being to surpass the natural orders which are made by God. So eternality, so eternal life and eternal youth is something which is made for God, and any human trying to surpass that laws of nature comes up with repercussions and consequences. That is what we are talking about. So the necessity of death. The poem draws upon the classical myth. So it is a Greek mythology. Okay, it is a Greek mythology. So this is an excerpt. What is the meaning of excerpt? Excerpt is a piece of writing which is borrowed from somewhere. So this Tithonus poem is borrowed from the Greek mythology of Tithonus, a mortal man who was granted immortality by the goddess Eos, that is Aurora, but without the gift of eternal youth. She forgets to grant him that tum hamesha jawan rahoge. As a result of which, through Tithonus is lamenting. Lamenting means he is yearning or desiring to be free. He wants to be free of this curse of immortality. So Tennyson crafts a very haunting, means disastrous meditation on time, decay, and the limits of human desire. Chalo, let's go ahead. Now, the central theme of the poem is the theme of immortality and the theme of decay. That is, withering away with the passage of time. At the heart of the poem lies a paradox. What is the meaning of paradox? A contrast. Contrast between Tithonus's aged plight and Aurora's eternal beauty. ठीक है? Tithonus's aged plight, that is condition, and Eos's eternal beauty. That is the contrast that we are talking about. Tithonus has been granted eternal life, yet this gift has become a curse to him. So once a seeming boon, जो उसको लग रहा था उसके लिए वरदान साबित होगा, that actually turns out to be a curse. And unlike the god, he is subjected to physical decay. He is physically rotting. He is withering away. He withers and fades away and is consumed by the cruel immortality. A phrase that underscores the irony of his fate, the repercussions of his pride, that in his pride he asked for this boon and now see what has happened to him. While nature continues its cycle of life and death, कि कुदरत तो अपना, so Tithonus, when he looks around everything around him, what is there, he sees that all the living creatures has this benevolent gift of dying. This benevolent implies this merciful gift of dying, and even though man, all the mortal beings, they come, they take birth, they lead their life, and they meet their ultimate perish, but it is Tithonus who has to perpetually live. So Tithonus remains unnaturally suspended, and anomaly means abnormally amidst the natural order. So Tithonus' life stands like a defiance, like a violation to the natural cycle of life and death. There is a contrast between the moral mortal and divine, where Tithonus was a mortal being, he was a living creature, but Eos, who is divine, she is perpetually beautiful. So through this, Tennyson highlights the incompatibility, that how Tithonus's aged state is incompatible with that of Aurora's eternal beauty, between the human nature and the divine existence. Tithonus's body is aging, but he is forced to live eternally in the presence of Eos's immortal beauty. We'll come to what is given in the line. So the lines immortal age beside immortal youth reflect his torment, that he feels tortured. He's feeling all tortured at his present condition, which is a vivid juxtaposition, which is a vivid contrast, which is a vivid contrast that evokes, that gives rise to pathos. Pathos yani that gives rise to sympathy. So we feel sympathetic towards Tithonus after reading this poem. His longing, his desire to return to earth to die suggests that mortality, not immortality, is the true gift for a mankind. So it is appropriate that humans, after their due course of time, they should meet their ultimate death. So I can give you an example. हमारे कितनी बार इंडियन फैमिलीज में ऐसा होता है, हमारे इंडियन फैमिली में ऐसा होता है, वी गेट टू सी दैट आवर ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स गेटिंग ओल्ड, एंड सिंस दे आर डिपेंडेबल, they depend on their son or their daughter or daughter-in-law for almost everything. It creates a lot of unresting and unsettling atmosphere at home. Parents irritate हो जाते हैं, उनका सेवा करते करते they are not able to take out time for themselves, and you know, फिर घर में थोड़ा सा कलेश होना शुरू हो जाता है. So that is why it is said that after a certain point of time and after a certain age, it is appropriate, it is suitable that people meet their ultimate death, ultimate perish, right? Chalo, let's start with Tithonus. Now it's a beautiful poem, yet it is very complex. ध्यान से समझिएगा जो भी मैं आपको समझाऊंगा. So the poem starts with the woods decay and fall. The vapors weep their burden to the ground. Man comes and tills the field and lies beneath, and after many a summer dies the swan. So the woods decay. When Tithonus is looking around everything, he can see that the trees, woods refers to the trees. ठीक है? The trees are decaying. That means even the trees are falling and dying. So the woods decay, the repetition of the woods decay, it emphasizes onto the natural cycle of life and death. So every living creature around him is meeting its ultimate perish, is meeting its ultimate death. So the woods are decaying and falling, and even the vapors are weeping their burden to the ground. So vapors refers to the fog or the atmosphere, the moisture which is present in the atmosphere, and when it becomes way too heavy for the atmosphere to handle that moisture, it comes down on earth as droplets. So he's saying that even the vapors, even when the atmosphere is becoming incapable of holding the moisture, it is releasing out its burden. Okay, it is throwing out its burden in the form of droplets which is falling onto the ground. At the same time, you can also perceive this as if, looking at Tithonus's plight, at his condition, it seems as if the nature is weeping. Weeping means as if the nature itself is crying at the condition of Tithonus, at the plight of Tithonus. Then he says that when I see man comes and tills the field and lies beneath. So man, they come means when a man takes birth, when a man is born, he tills the field. Tills the field means, tilling का मतलब होता है plowing. ठीक है? But over here, tills the field refers to leading their life's journey. That even man, when they are born, they lead their life's journey, they complete their due course of cycle of life on earth, and they lie beneath. So man is born of a soil, and then after completing their due course of cycle, their journey, they even go and get mixed with the soil. So they meet their death. And even creatures like swan, After many a summer dies the swan. Now, swan are referred to as very majestic creatures who are very magnificent to look at, such beautiful creatures. And it is said that swan बहुत कई सालों तक जिंदा रहता है. That is why the phrase has been used after many a summer. That even swan-like creatures, after leading their prolonged life, एक अपना लंबा समय जीवन काल पूरा करके, even they meet their ultimate death. So ऐसा बोला जाता है कि swan अपना जीवन काल पूरा करके, those magnificent creature during the time of death, they sing their last song, अपना आखिरी गाना गा के फिर एक swan अपना प्राण छोड़ता है. सो मेजेस्टिक क्रीचर्स लाइक स्वॉन, जो कि उनका मौत मतलब उनका भी मौत निश्चित है, कौन ही चाहेगा कि ब्यूटीफुल क्रीचर्स लाइक स्वॉन शुड डाई, बट इवन दे मीट देयर ड्यू कोर्स ऑफ एंड. सब लोग उसके आसपास जितने भी लिविंग मॉर्टल क्रीचर्स है, दे आर मीटिंग देयर अल्टीमेट डेथ, बट इट इज ओनली मी that have to stay perpetually alive. So he says that it is me only who cruel immortality consumes. I wither slowly in thine arms here at the quiet limit of the world, a white-haired shadow roaming like a dream, the ever-silent spaces of the east, far-folded mist and the gleaming halls of morn. So, Tithonus is seeing that all the natural creatures, all the living creatures are meeting their ultimate end, but it is only him. Me means he's talking about himself, that it is only me that is this cruel immortality. This phrase is very important. He addresses immortality as cruel because he thought that immortality will sound really fascinating, really good, that by asking this boon, he will have to he'll get a chance to live with Aurora forever. But actually now, after the passage of time, he feels that this once a seeming boon has turned out to be a curse. So cruel immortality conveys that his boon turned into a curse for him. ठीक है, उसके लिए वो एक अभिश्राप बन गया है. And that is why he's addressing immortality as cruel. So it is only me that cruel immortality consumes. Consumes means it withers him away. Withers away. Withers away means it leaves him more and more weak. It makes him more and more frail and emaciated. Emaciated यानी उसको धीरे धीरे उसके शरीर को गला रहा है. Immortality, ये जो श्राप है. I wither slowly in thine arm. Wither means I am rotting or I am decaying. ठीक है, I am rotting and decaying in thine arms. In thine arms means in your arms. Thine refers to your, and whose arm is he talking about? He's talking about Eos's arms. So as you can see from the picture, यहाँ अगर आप देखोगे तो आपको समझ में आएगा. देखिए कि टिथनस अपने किस कंडीशन के बारे में बोल रहा है कि अभी टिथनस हैज बिकम सो श्रिवेल्ड. उसका पूरा देखिए चेहरा गल गया है. देयर इज ऑल wrinkles all over his body. He's looking ugly right now, and that is why he's lamenting. He's regretting his decision, saying that after asking that boon of immortality, it is me that cruel immortality is consuming, and I am withering away slowly in your arms. Here at the quiet limit of the world. Now, what is the meaning of quiet limit of the world? He is referring it to as the edge of the world. ठीक है? He is withering away at the edge of the world. That means he is nestled, he is resided at the thresholds of the east. That somewhere he is residing towards the east direction from where the dawn breaks, from where Aurora descends. So here at the quiet limit of the world, I have become a white-haired shadow. A white-haired shadow means I have become an ugly, aged, withered being. ठीक है? I have become a shadow-like figure. He is saying that I have become like a shadow, means I have dissolved into nothingness and I am roaming like a dream. Who is like a nightmare? who is like a nightmare कि कोई अगर मुझे देखेगा तो घबरा जाएगा या डर जाएगा देख के, ठीक है. So I'm like a white head shadow who's roaming like a dream, who's roaming like a nightmare. The ever silent, where is he roaming? He is roaming in the ever silent spaces of the east, means Tithonus is surrounded by nobody. He is all alone by himself, where there are far folded mist, so he can see fogs and vapors and moisture all around him. And moisture also conveys a sense of gloominess, a sense of dullness, paleness, that there is nothing around him, there is no warmth around him. And the gleaming, from where he can see the gleaming, means shining, shining hall spaces of the morning. So Tithonus is resided at the edge of the world, from where he can see the morning time, that is the radiance of the morning, and he is withering over there at the present condition. And then Tithonus is lamenting. Okay? This shows his lamenting. Lamenting means feeling sorrowful. He is grieving. He is grieving at his present condition, saying that alas. So alas conveys lamenting. Alas, for this grey shadow, this shadowy like figure, this ghostly like figure, was once a man so glorious in his beauty, and thy choice who madest him thy chosen, that he seemed to his greater heart none other than a god. So he is saying that alas, the former myself, former yani jab main purane dino mein, the way I used to look, this grey shadow that I have become today was once a man. किसी एक जमाने में मैं एक ऐसा आदमी था, who was so glorious in his beauty, who was so handsome and who was so majestic in his beauty, was so charming in his beauty, that I was thy choice, that you chose me, a goddess like you, Eos, you chose me as your beloved, as your partner, and who madest him thy chosen. So it is my handsome appearance that made you choose me as your beloved and as your partner. And when you chose me as a partner, it felt to the older Tithonus, to the former Tithonus, to his great heart, उसके दिल को ऐसा लगा Tithonus को, उस पुराने Tithonus को, that I am no other than a god. So he felt himself parallel to God. उसको लगा कि मैं खुद ही एक देवता हूं, क्योंकि मैं इतना हैंडसम हूं कि एक देवी ने मुझे अपना एज अ पार्टनर चूज किया है. So he was extremely elated, he was extremely happy by becoming Eos's beloved. ठीक है? He was so handsome. So you can see this image, he's talking about his former self, that how handsome he looked during his old time, which made Tithonus Eos's beloved, that Eos chose him, chose a mortal man to be his husband. And then at that time, when I asked thee, give me immortality. So when I asked you that grant me the boon of immortality, then didst thou grant mine, asking with a smile like wealthy men who care not how they give. So when I asked you the boon of immortality, you, without questioning me, without even asking me that why do I want this immortality, you just granted my wish. तुमने मुझे दे दिया. And he's comparing Eos to that of wealthy people, with those rich people who just donates, very recklessly they donate their money, not even thinking that how much are they donating. So he's saying that this shows a reckless nature of Eos, that she was reckless. It was reckless of Eos, it was stupid of Eos to have granted Tithonus the boon of immortality without even questioning that why is he asking that gift for. And he's saying that like a wealthy man who does not care how much is the person giving, you granted me that boon. Okay? But however, after the boon was granted, with the passage of time, with the due course of time, thy strong arms indignant work their wills, and beat me down and marred me and wasted me. And though they could not end me but left me maimed, to dwell in the presence of immortal youth, where immortal age beside immortal youth. So he says that after you granted me the boon of immortality, with the passage of time, over the course of time, thy strong arms means your Strong hours is referred to as the passage of time. ठीक है, the time frame, the passage of time, and you can also perceive passage of time as the other companion goddesses of Eos. So goddess, the time has also been personified as one of the god that denotes the passage of time के समय जो कि तुम्हारी companion थी, ठीक है, your companion goddesses, that is time, they indignant means they were annoyed, and they worked their wills, means they worked as per their own whims, as per their own desires. So he means to say that after you granted me the boon of immortality with the due course of time, with the passage of time, your companion goddesses, that is the goddesses of time, they were so annoyed by us as a couple, that is Tithonus and Eos as a couple, that out of their envy, out of their jealousy, they worked their own will. They worked as per their own desire. And what they did is they beat me down. They beat me down means they left him crippled, like they made their life a misery, a living misery. They marred me and wasted me. So they left Tithonus crippled. Crippled means left him to decay, to rot over the course of time. So they marred me, they wasted me, and they beat me down. So the other companion goddesses, that is the goddess of time, they did not show any mercy on Tithonus. Rather, with the passage of time, they made him more and more aged being. And even though they could not end me, so the time, the hours, they could not end me. Why they couldn't end him? Because of the boon of immortality, but they left me maimed. Again, maimed refers to crippled. Okay? They left him maimed. Crippled means to be, to dissolve in his own body over the course of time. So it is like his spirit, his soul is locked up, it's prisoned in his own body, which is yearning to be free, but then it is the strong hours which is not allowing Tithonus to be free, and it has kept Tithonus in captivity. Okay? And so they left me maimed, they left me scarred. Maimed could also be scarred. Okay? It could also mean scarred. That means physically injured forever. To dwell, to reside. To dwell means to reside in the presence of immortal youth. Now, who is immortal youth? He is referring it to as Eos. So your hours, that is the passage of time, they left me maimed, they made me physically crippled, and they scarred me forever to reside alongside you, who is an immortal youth. So it is Aurora who will never die, since she is a goddess. She will forever be youthful and beautiful, and I have to reside by you. So I am an immortal age. Who is immortal age? He's talking about himself, Tithonus himself. Beside immortal youth. Immortal youth is again Eos. So he is presenting a contrast between his physical condition with that of Eos's beauty. That it is me who is being consumed by this curse of immortality, but then it is you who is perpetually, who is eternally beautiful. And all I was in ashes. So after this, when all these things happened with the passage of time, I was done for. Okay? I was done for means his life was doomed. Okay? His life was doomed. I was in ashes. I was reduced down to nothingness. You can also use this phrase. He was reduced down to nothingness. ठीक है, I was in ashes. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. And now he is questioning Eos, saying that, can thy love, thy beauty make amends, though even now close over us, the silver star thy guide shines in those tremulous eyes that fill with tears. To hear me, let me go, take back thy gift. Why should a man desire in any way to vary from the kindly race of men or pass beyond the goal of ordinance, where all should pause is the most meet for all? So he's questioning Eos, saying that, can your love, now after this condition of mind, can your love, your beauty, your glory, Make amend means compensate. Can it compensate, or can it undo, or can it recover? Can it compensate, undo or recover, make amend even now? ठीक है, सो क्या तुम मुझे मेरे इस कंडीशन से मुक्त कर सकती हो? नहीं कर सकती हो ना। देखो अभी भी क्या हो रहा है, व्हाट इज हैपनिंग राइट नाउ? क्लोज ओवर अस द सिल्वर स्टार दाई गाइड। नाउ व्हाट इज द सिल्वर स्टार? ही इज रेफरिंग सिल्वर स्टार टू एज द मॉर्निंग स्टार। ठीक है, एज द मॉर्निंग स्टार। एंड व्हाट इज मॉर्निंग स्टार? मॉर्निंग स्टार मींस ही इज रेफरिंग इट टू वीनस। सो ईओस है, ईओस का कंपेनियन इज रिगार्डेड एज द मॉर्निंग स्टार, दैट इज सिल्वर स्टार। Your guide, which is your companion, shines in those tremulous eyes that fills with tear. So I'll tell you what is the imagery. That Tithonus and Eos, they are confronting each other, they are standing against each other, and between them there is a silver star that is shining, who is Eos's companion, and through the radiance of that star, which is falling into Eos's eyes, which is filled with tears. सो ईओस के आंखों में आंसू भर आए हैं, एंड जो सिल्वर स्टार है उसका रेडियंस, उसका शाइन ईओस की आंख में चमक रहा है, विच इज मेकिंग द टीयर्स इवन मोर एविडेंट, मोर विजिबल, मोर रेडियंट टू टिथनस। सो देखिए मैंने ऊपर पिक्चर भी लगाया है समझाने के लिए कि ये आपका टिथनस है एंड ये ईओस होगी। ये जो सिल्वर स्टार है दैट इज शाइनिंग, उसका रेडियंस ईओस के आंख पे पड़ रहा है, जिसकी वजह से जो ईओस का आंसू है इट इज बिकमिंग मोर एविडेंट एंड विजिबल टू टिथनस। सो दैट इज व्हाट ही इज सेइंग, दैट close over us your silver star, your guide that is shining in those tremulous means shaky, ठीक है, shaky, in those shaky eyes that are filled with tears, to hear me, do you hear me, please let me go, that means release me of this curse, release me of this curse and take back thy gift, take back your gift, I don't need it anymore. And then he questions himself and to the mortal beings that why do mortal creatures, they always rise high up in ambition? Why living creatures rise in ambition, becoming ambitious? So once even Tithonus tried to be ambitious, and in his ambition he asked for this boon of immortality, which turned out to be a curse for him. And that is why he's saying that why should a man desire, why would a mortal creature would desire in any way to vary means to surpass, from the kindly race of men. So he is saying that the race of men means the men, the mortal creatures have this such kind gift, that is the gift of dying after a course of time. So आखिरकार क्यों ही एक mortal इंसान, एक आदमी या कोई भी living creature जो कि प्री डिसाइडेड लॉज ऑफ नेचर है उसको सरपास करने का कोशिश करेगा, फ्रॉम दिस बेनेवोलेंट गिफ्ट, from this humble gift which is given by nature, that is the ability to die. Or why would a man try to pass beyond the goal of ordinance? So why should a man try to pass beyond? Pass beyond also conveys surpass. The goal of ordinance means the natural order of things. And what are natural order of things? It is the cycle of life and death. So all those living creatures which have taken birth, it is appropriate for them that they should meet their perish, they should die, they should pass away after a course of time. So why should a man would try to surpass that goal of ordinance, that pre-decided laws of nature, where he says that all should pause. So now through his condition, Tithonus's condition, Tennyson is trying to portray that it is most meet for all. Most meet for all means it is appropriate that all should pause. All should pause means after a point of time human beings should cease means stop to exist. कि एक समय के बाद ह्यूमन बींग्स मर जाए उनके लिए वही अच्छा है. दे शुड नॉट ट्राई टू पास द गोल ऑफ ऑर्डिनेंस, सरपास द प्री डिसाइडेड लॉज ऑफ नेचर. ठीक है. सो इन दिस लाइन वी गेट टू सी दैट टिथिनस इज एक्सट्रीमली इमोशनल एंड इज एट a very somber state, a very sorrowful state. ठीक है. He is very emotional and he is lamenting, he is regretting. He is regretting his past decision, where Tithonus is begging, desiring to be released from the burden of eternal life as he suffers the pain of aging while surrounded by the immortal beauty of Eos, that is the goddess of dawn. ठीक है. चलिए, let's go ahead. Now, Tithonus describes the beauty of Aurora, and he says that once in the past times, in the days gone, I used to acknowledge your beauty, but now in the present time, I have seen your beauty so many times, and since you continue to grow beautiful with each passing morning, it brings me no comfort at all. ठीक है. It is not a source of comfort for him, to which he used to drool over once upon a time. कि उसके beauty को देख के Tithonus heart would start thudding, you know, his heart would start palpitating, but now it brings him no comfort and joy. So he says that a soft air fans the cloud apart, and there comes a glimpse of a dark world where I was born. So he's talking about a time in the past where the soft air means a gentle breeze that fans means that separates the clouds apart. So जब बहुत gently हवा चलती है, जो बादल है वो दोनों छट जाते हैं, separate हो जाते हैं. You can see the picture. I have given the picture over here. So a gentle breeze that separates the cloud apart. There comes a glimpse of a dark world. So there he catches a glimpse. Glimpse means a view. ठीक है. He catches a view of that dark world. Now dark world he is referring it to as the mortal world, which is full of darkness. ठीक है. Mortal world which is full of darkness and which is full of evilness. ठीक है. There comes a glimpse of the dark world where I was born. So he is looking at the earth and saying that right now he is resided at the threshold of east. So when there is a gentle breeze that comes and separates the crowd, there he catches the glimpse of the earth, a dark world, where he says that there I was born. Now you can perceive it in two senses. One is the literal sense that Tithonus is talking about the earth, the mortal place where he was born, number one. Number two, it could also be perceived as the darkness that he was surrounded by. So it is like until the entry of Eos in Tithonus's life, he was surrounded by darkness. So he was surrounded by purposelessness. He had no vision, he had no aim, and his life was meaningless. But it is through Eos's entry in the times past that Tithonus got purpose to his life. उसको वजह मिला जीने का. And also you can also perceive it as, if you go deeper, you can also see it as when Tithonus would have been inside his mother's womb. जब अपने वो माँ के पेट में होगा, maybe that is what he is talking about a dark world as, कि he was in that dark chamber, and when for the first time when he was born, he got the glimpse of the light, and little did he know that he would be destined to unite with a goddess of dawn. ठीक है. आप उसको इस वे में भी perceive कर सकते हो. So there comes a glimpse of the dark world where I was born. And from there, once again, the old mysterious glimmer steals from thy pure brows and from thy shoulders pure, and bosom beating with a heart renewed. Thy cheek begins to redden through the gloom, and thy sweet eyes brighten closely to mine. So now he is describing the beauty of Eos, that is the descent of Aurora, that when she arrives, how majestic and how beautiful and how divine she looks at that time. So once again, your old mysterious means this carries a sense of, eccentricity, that she is mysterious. We don't know that what she is up to, that is Eos. So once more, that old mysterious glimmer means that shine. It steals away my heart. Steals means it steals away Tithonus's heart. That how once again that mysterious glimmer steals away Tithonus's heart, And from thy means from Eos's, her, that is Eos's pure brows, from her eyebrows, from her shoulders, from her heart beating with a bosom. So there is a palpitation that he's talking about, that there is a renewed heart. Her heart is, thudding with excitement when Eos looks at Tithonus. So he's talking about that. And her cheeks begins to redden through the gloom, through the dark sky. So he's talking about whenever Eos would approach Tithonus, she would be, she would be shying away looking at her beloved. So that is what he's talking about, that her heart would be thudding with passions of love whenever she would look at me, and her cheeks would start to become red, and redden means she would start to blush. Okay? Her cheeks would start to blush, she would start to blush. And once again, her sweet eyes, he's saying that her eyes are sweet, brightening slowly close to mine. So I would see her eyes start to brighten before his eyes. And then he's talking about the powerful imagery of dawn, that when dawn breaks, what would be the different hues that you can see it up in the sky. Ere they blind the stars, and the wild team which love thee, yearning for thy yoke, arise and shake the darkness from their loosened manes and beat the twilight into flakes of fire. So he says that when Aurora descends, so when Eos descends, air means before she comes, before she approaches, so isse pehle Surya Uday ho, it is the time of Aurora, it is the time of goddess of dawn. She approaches. So before she comes and blind the stars, so because Aurora is going to come and she is the goddess of light, she is the goddess of dawn, she is going to blind the stars, means कि जितने भी सितारे हैं आसमान में सारे खो जाएंगे. So they will go behind the light and they will not be visible anymore. So before they blind the stars, your wild team. Now what is the meaning of wild team? He's talking about the horses. The horses which are tied to Aurora's chariot. So Aurora रथ के ऊपर आती है, जिसके wild team, that is horses, which love thee, who love you, who really loves you, ठीक है, who love you, yearning for thy yoke, and they desire, yearning means desiring, for thy yoke means for your instruction. So Aurora's horses who are desiring for her instruction, they arise. So before Aurora comes, their chariot are ready to descend, जिसके ऊपर Aurora बैठ के आएगी, and they shake the darkness. So upon Aurora's instruction, the horses, they shake the darkness from their loosened manes. So what is the meaning of manes? चलो यहाँ पिक्चर से समझते हैं. So as you can see, the horse is there. जो horse की ये जो बाल है, ठीक है, this hair of horse is called manes. So what happens is that when Aurora descends, before she blinds the star, she instructs her horses to shake their manes, ठीक है, to shake their loosened manes, through which flakes of fire is produced. So it produces fire, their manes produces fire, and by that flakes of fire, the dawn breaks. So they shake the darkness from their loosened manes and beat the twilight. So they turn the darkness. Beat means they turn the darkness, twilight, into the flakes of fire through which dawn breaks. ठीक है? सूर्य उदय होता है. So it's a beautiful imagery of the arrival of dawn, which Tithonus is saying that before Aurora arrives, it is her chariots, it is her horses who are waiting for Aurora, and upon Aurora's instruction, they shake their manes, they shake their loosened manes, which produces fire, and through which that fiery flake which is up in the sky, it is through that the dawn breaks. Okay? So it is the celestial power of Aurora that is being depicted here. And now Tithonus is wondering, again he is lamenting at his present condition, saying that, lo, so he's like admiring Aurora's beauty and saying that, ever thus thou growest beautiful. So you will remain perpetually beautiful. It is not like you are going to age, since you are a goddess. And in silence then before thine answer given departest, and thy tears are on my cheeks. So you remain eternally beautiful, and you arrive every morning. And after your arrival, when it is time for you to descend, I expect that maybe this time you would have come with a good news that you are going to release me of this curse, but every time you depart in silence, you go away without giving me an answer, which implies the helplessness of Aurora. So this showcases us that there are even some limitations to God, that कोई भी श्राप या कोई भी वरदान एक बार अगर भगवान ने दे दिया तो even the God themselves cannot recall back their gift. They cannot undo what has been done. So when Aurora comes and she departs, she goes back. There are tears on her cheeks and that tear falls on Tithonus's cheek as well. कि अरोरा की आंख के आंसू टिथनस के चेहरे के ऊपर गिरते हैं. They are on my cheek, and through which he says that why are you scaring me? So it is like when you are in pain, at that time, if सामने वाला person, when you expect सामने वाला person to come and comfort you, to provide you that peace, and instead वो लोग अपना ही ranting अगर शुरू कर देगा, they'll start showing their own pain. So it is like when you are crying, you expect somebody to take care of you and not rather सामने वाला खुद रोना शुरू कर दे. So when he is saying that, he is seeing that he is already at a miserable state and Aurora is doing nothing, she is just crying like every time, हर बार की तरह वो वापस से रो रही है. That makes Tithonus say that why wilt thou ever scare me with thy tears? Why are you trying to scare me away with your tears and make me tremble and make me shake? ठीक है, make me tremble means make me shake, lest a saying learnt in the days far off. And why are you reminding me through your tears about a saying, about something जो मैंने कहीं पुराने दिनों में सुना था? So lest a saying learnt in the days far off on that dark earth where he was born, he had heard this somewhere in the past, that be true, which is true, that the God themselves cannot recall their gifts. So Tithonus is a testament to this old saying कि he has been a victim of this पुरानी कहावतें जो लोग बोलते थे कि एक बार भगवान जो वरदान दे देते हैं भगवान उसको वापस नहीं ले सकते. सो Tithonus बोलता है कि तुम क्यों अपने आंसुओं से मुझे डरा के ये याद करवाने का कोशिश कर रही हो कि पुराने दिनों में मैंने कहावत सुनी थी, एक बात सुनी थी, that even God themselves cannot take back their gift. God cannot recall their boon. So once a boon has been granted, they cannot take it back. ठीक है? I hope आपको समझ में आ रहा है and I'm able to do the justice to this poem. चलिए. Now Tithonus is talking about his former self, his old self, and how he would feel when he would be in the presence of Aurora. Ay me, what another heart in days far off, and with what other eyes I used to watch. If I be he that watched the lucid outline forming round thee, saw the dim curls kindle into sunny rings, change with thy mystic change, and felt my blood glow with the glow that slowly crimsoned all. So he's talking about ay me, that is pity me, pity me. He's lamenting over his pitiable state, at his pitiable plight, at his pitiable condition, P-L-I-G-H-T. P-L-I-G-H-T. So he's lamenting at his pitiable state, at his pitiable plight, saying that with what another heart, kya tha main, what a different kind of emotions that I had for you, Eos, in the days far off, in the long gone days, and with what other eyes I used to watch, what a different perspective I had about you in the days far off. If I be he that watch, if I had been the older Tithonus, my former self, that would look at you, अगर मैं वही पुराना टिथनस होता अभी, जो कि तुम्हें अगर अभी इस समय पे देखता जैसे मैं देखा करता था, then what I would observe is that the lucid outline, what is the meaning of lucid? Lucid means visible. Something that is clearly visible. ठीक है, the lucid outline forming round thee. Now what is the meaning of outline? आपने कभी देखा है कि कोई भी God जब approach करता है, let me show you. Whenever there is a God that approaches, can you see this outline? Can you see this outline? This outline is being referred to as the lucid outline, which is called a halo. ठीक है, it's called a halo of a god. जो aura रहता है god के पीछे का, encircling a god, there is a different kind of radiance which is emitted out of a god that is said to be as halo. So he's talking about that lucid outline of Aurora. the lucid outline forming round thee, which is encircling behind you. Forming round thee means which is encircling behind you, जो तुम्हारे पीछे है, ठीक है, which is encircling behind you. And then I would saw the dim curls, your dim curls kindle into sunny rings. So क्या imagery बन रहा है यहाँ पे कि अरोरा का this dim curls, ठीक है, this dim curls has started to brighten with flakes of fire. So her dim curls turning into sunny rings, into glowing rings. ठीक है, sunny rings means into the glowing rings. And I would undergo a change, changed with thy mystic change, and felt my blood glow with the glow that slowly crimsoned all. So Tithonus is saying that he would undergo transformation. He would undergo transformation under Eos's presence. So Eos के presence में he would feel that he himself is transforming. It is showcasing and depicting their intense amount of passion and love that they held for each other. Just imagine करिए if you have romantic sort of feelings for your partner, and if that person for whom you have crush upon is in your vicinity, is in your periphery or boundary, your heart will automatically will start to thud. ठीक है, आपको थोड़ा सा giddy and romantic feeling आना start हो जाएगा. You'll start feeling the adrenal rush for that partner. ठीक है, so that is what he's saying, that in the days far off when you would appear under your mystic appearance, even I would undergo a change. Mystic means magically. Even through some magic, even I would change myself, and I would feel as if my blood would start to glow with that of yours. So it is like jab Eos would be in front of Tithonus and she would be confronting Tithonus. Eos is glowing because she is the goddess of dawn, and because of her glow, जब वो Tithonus के करीब होती है तो even Tithonus का body would start to glow up. ठीक है, so he is talking about the love that would fill in his heart seeing Eos before him in the olden times, ठीक है, in the past times. And slowly crimsoned all means everything would turn into red in color. Crimson means red color, and red symbolizes love and passion. ठीक है, love and passion, the amount of love, intense love which Eos and Tithonus held for each other. And then he's talking about the physical intimacy between Eos and Tithonus, that while I lay, means when I would be in your arms, while I lay, I would be in your physical proximity, my mouth, my forehead, my eyelids. He's talking about himself. Tithonus अपने खुद के बारे में बोल रहा है कि उसका mouth, forehead and eyelids would start growing dewy warm. So he would start feeling the warmth of Aurora within him. ठीक है, his own body would start to warm up, and when they would kiss each other with kisses which would be balmier. Balmier means very soothing, gentle or comforting. ठीक है, that would be so comforting. So with the exchange of kisses which would be balmier, which would be very soothing than the half opening buds of April. So April is the season of spring and it is the season of renewal. So during the season of April, when the flowers would blossom, कि जब फ्लावर्स आधे ही, कोई भी कली जो आधी ही खिली होगी उससे भी ज्यादा टेंडर होता था exchanging kisses with you. ठीक है, he is telling this to Eos, he is telling it to himself that पहले क्या था कि जब हम लोग किस करते, when we would exchange kisses, अप्रैल सीजन का, स्प्रिंग सीजन का जो बड्स है, जो हाफ ओपनिंग बड है, which implies very tenderness. ठीक है, हाफ ओपनिंग बड is referred to as tender or gentle. So उससे भी ज्यादा gentle it would feel, उससे भी ज्यादा soothing and tender it would feel to exchange kisses with you. And then when we would be kissing, I could hear the lips, I could hear you speak something while kissing, whispering I knew not what of wild and sweet, like the strange song I heard Apollo sing while Ilion like a mist rose into towers. So he's saying that when we would exchange kisses, I could hear you murmuring something. I would hear you whispering something which I knew not, which I did not know what you would speak about, कि तुम क्या बोल रही होगी, वो मुझे शायद नहीं समझ भी नहीं आता था उस टाइम पे, when we would be kissing, and it sounded to me like a strange song, like a strange song which Apollo, now Apollo कौन है? Apollo is the god of music and archery, ठीक है? He's a god of music and archery. So he's saying that your whisperings while kissing, Eos's whispering would sound like a melodious song which he had someday heard Apollo sing. शायद कभी वो अपोलो को गाते हुए सुना होगा. And it is believed. So he is making an allusion. ठीक है? He is making an allusion. He is making an allusion. Allusion का मतलब होता है reference. So in Greek mythology, it is believed that when Apollo had sung a song, जब अपोलो ने गाना गाया था, so the mythical city of Troy, ठीक है, it's a myth, mythical city of Troy झूम उठा था at Apollo's song, झूमने लग गया था, and it is believed that it rose from the earth, कि वो वेपर जैसे धरती से उठ के जाके हेवन में स्थापित हो गया. So it is believed, that is what he is saying, that your whispering would sound like the strange song which I heard Apollo sing while Ilion is reference to Troy, ठीक है, the mythical city of Troy, which rose means which got up into the towers means got up into the heaven. So Ilion like vapors, it had risen into the heaven, and he's comparing, so basically he's comparing the amount of passion and the amount of warmth that he felt in the former times, in the past time, when he would be in physical proximity with Eos. ठीक है? I hope that is clear. And the concluding line. But now again coming back to his present self, Tithonus is begging, he is desiring, yet hold me not forever in thine east. Please do not hold me forever in your arms over here. Because how can my nature longer mix with thine? We both are incompatible now. We both are incompatible. Okay, we both are incompatible. I think it is incompatible. Yeah, we both are incompatible now, that you are forever youthful and I am withering away with the course of time. So how can our nature mix with each other? कैसे हम दोनों एक दूसरे के साथ अब मिल सकते हैं? We are no more compatible. Coldly thy rosy shadows bathe me. So your shadows, basically your glow, your shimmer, your shine, which is supposed to provide warmth and comfort to others, it is bathing me. So I am drowning in the coldness of that. It is not bringing me any source of joy or comfort. That is what he is saying. So coldly thy rosy shadows are bathing me, and cold are thy lights. Your lights, which are supposed to provide warmth and comfort to others, but it is providing no warmth and comfort to me. So your shadows are cold, your lights are cold, and they cold my wrinkled feet upon thy glimmering threshold. So when you approach me, when you come close to me, your light does not provide me any comfort, and rather they bathe me cold. They drown me into more and more paleness, dullness and coldness. ठीक है? And Tithonus says that whenever he sees, so जब भी उसका नजर नीचे पड़ता है, when the steam floats up from those dim fields about the homes of the happy men that have the power to die and the grassy barrows of the happier dead, he regrets seeing that, he laments seeing that. So he is saying that whenever he catches a glimpse of the steam, that is vapor, rising, floating up, rising up from those dim fields, fields means from the mortal world which is coming up, the vapors are rising from the homes of happy men. He regards men, yani mortal beings. He regards mortal beings as happy. They are happy. They are privileged. Okay? They are happy and they are privileged. And why are they happy or privileged? Because they have the power to die. They have the privilege. They have the opportunity to die, to meet their ultimate death, to meet their ultimate perish. But then it is Tithonus who is perpetually captured. He is perpetually decaying and he is captive in his withering state of body. So that is what he is saying, that when I look at the vapors that are rising from the earth, from the men, the houses of the happy men, it reminds me of the grassy barrows of the happier dead. Now, what is the meaning of barrow? Barrow refers to a bump or the uneven surface of the land. सो बैरो का मतलब ऐसा होता है कि मान लीजिए एक जमीन है एंड उस जमीन को अगर आपने खोद दिया, ठीक है, इफ यू डिग एंड देन अगर आप उसको ढकने का कोशिश करोगे तो इट विल नॉट बी अ स्मूथ सर्फेस, रादर एक बम्प सॉर्ट ऑफ क्रिएट हो जाएगा एंड दैट बम्प इज रिगार्डेड एज अ बैरो. So when he looks at the barrows, it reminds him of the graves of the happier men, the people who have the ability and the privilege to die, to which he feels sorrowful at his own condition. He feels pity at his own condition that they have the privilege to die, but then it is me who has to stay perpetually alive. ठीक है? So it reminds him of the barrows of the happier dead, people who are happy after being died. So they are not bothered by any withering state of theirs, they are ultimately released. So therefore, in the concluding line, he begs, he desires Eos to let him go. So release me and restore me to the ground. Please let me go. Do not keep me forever in your arms in your east. Let me go and let me go back to the ground, to my grave, because thou seest all things. Since you come every morning, you will get to see everything. You are a goddess, you will see everything from up in the sky, and therefore thou will see my grave as well. So तुम तो सब कुछ ही देखोगी, तो तुम मेरा grave भी देख लेना. You see my grave as well. मुझे प्लीज अपने पास मत रखो हमेशा हमेशा के लिए, मुझे रिलीज कर दो, मुझे जाने दो यहाँ से. Thou wilt renew thy beauty morn by morn. You will continue to grow beautiful every morning with each and every passing morning. You will get more and more beautiful. But then I, earth and earth, forget these empty coats. I will just mix, I'll get mixed into the soil, into the earth, and I'll be a forgotten past. So he wishes, Tithonus wishes to be a forgotten past. He doesn't want to linger or reside here on the thresholds of East. Rather, he just wants to be a faded memory of Eos. कि मुझे बस एक याद बना दो, मुझे मर जाने दो, मुझे अब मत रखो यहाँ पे, ठीक है? So I, earth and earth, forget these empty coats, and then तुम चली जाना and be returning on thy silver wheels, and then you can go back on your silver wheels, on your silver chariot. So it is like he's begging, he's pleading Aurora to release him from this physical deterioration, from this emotional alienation. He's feeling emotionally alienated and he wants to be released from his condition. He's suffering, and his suffering is getting more and more graver with each passing day, and that too when he's seeing Aurora around him, which once used to provide him with so much of comfort in the youthful days of Tithonus, is now incapable of providing that same solace, warmth and comfort to him, to which he is begging कि please मुझे जाने दो, मुझे छोड़ दो, मुझे मत रखो यहाँ पे. So this picture, this poem of Tennyson, it portrays the consequences of ambition. That Tithonus was rising high in his ambition, to which he mistakenly asks for a boon of immortality, and look what his condition has become. Now at this time he is regretting his decision and he is desiring to be released, to be free, but then it is some things are pre-decided, like he wonders that why would a man try to surpass the goal of ordinance, means try to defy the natural orders of things, and also it is showcasing that even God themselves have their some limitations. A boon which has been granted is not being taken back by Eos itself. So जो चीजें जैसी होती है उसको हमेशा वैसी अपने नेचुरल ऑर्डर पे ही चलने देना चाहिए, उसमें कभी भी छेड़खानी यानी हस्तक्षेप, इंटरफेयर नहीं करना चाहिए, otherwise repercussions could be ghastly. That is what this poem tries to convey. I hope with this your poem would have got clear, and if you are liking my videos, then I would request you to please like, share, subscribe and share it with your friends. If you are wondering कि आपको ये PPT चाहिए या आपको notes चाहिए, तो आप please मेरे app पे जाइए, अगर आप एंड्रॉइड यूजर है तो आप आर्यन ट्यूटोरियल्स को डाउनलोड करिए, एंड अगर आप एप्पल यूजर हो देन यू नीड टू डाउनलोड क्लास प्लस, एंड क्लास प्लस डाउनलोड करने के बाद आप मेरा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कोड डाल सकते हो विच इज PLYMMV। पूरा रैप्सोडी एंड प्रिज्म का जितना भी नोट्स है, दैट इज ऑल द रीजनिंग क्वेश्चन, शॉर्ट आंसर क्वेश्चन, लॉन्ग आंसर क्वेश्चन ऑफ 5 मार्क 10 मार्क रिस्पेक्टिवली, आई हैव मेड इट एज अ कोर्स एंड मैंने उसको मात्र 249 रुपीज में लॉन्च कर दिया है। अब जाइए उसको देखिए, आपको कम से कम 25 से 30 गिव रीजंस हर चैप्टर, हर पोएम के, 10 से 12 5 मार्क्स के शॉर्ट आंसर्स, 5 से 7 से 8 लॉन्ग आंसर क्वेश्चन, सब कुछ डाल दिया गया है विथ कीवर्ड्स बोल्डेड अप कि आपको पता चलेगा कि एग्जाम में क्या अंडरलाइन करके आना है। ठीक है, सो विद दिस आई टेक योर लीव। आई होप यू ऑल वुड हैव अंडरस्टूड दिस वीडियो। Please like, share, subscribe, keep studying, keep smiling. I'll see you in my next video. Take care. Bye bye.